Now I want to introduce to you a lady who has been a friend of mine for about a quarter of a century, Marilyn Burt. Marilyn, welcome to this wonderful audience of people learning how to share their faith.
Thank you, Ralph. I'm so glad to be here today.
And Marilyn, I would like for you to tell the folks about when we first met and how it happened.
All right. First of all, I would like to say that my son became a Christian when he was a senior in high school. And someone had given him a tract in school, and he took it home, and he asked Jesus into his heart. And then he started witnessing to me, Ralph. And I'll never forget his words. He said, "Mom, you're not saved." And I thought I knew everything about religion, but I really didn't. I didn't know anything about being saved. I didn't know anything about salvation. And then later he started going to West Memorial Baptist Church.
And I was pastor then. We called it the People Who Care, and it was a cell church. And he joined one of our teen cells, didn't he?
And that's when his discipleship and his growing in the Lord really took off, Ralph.
And it was then, Marilyn, he came to me and he said, "My mom needs the Lord. Will you please go see her?" And so it was. I called and you made an appointment for me to come and visit in your apartment.
Yes, Ralph. I'll never forget. That was on Sunday afternoon, September 4th, 1977. And the appointment was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it was the most important day in my whole life.
You know, Marilyn, we've been teaching in the earlier part of the seminar about the type A unbeliever, and you certainly were a searching unbeliever. And when I sat down and we talked a little bit, it was obvious that what you needed more than anything was just to understand how one becomes a Christian. What happened then?
But when you sat down, I just poured out my whole life to you. And at the very end, I asked you, "Ralph, what is it that since I know God, that there is a God, and that I know He has a Son, Jesus Christ, and that I know that there's a Holy Spirit, but why do I feel so empty inside?"
And that's when I suggested you get a blank sheet of paper and we sit down at the dining room table together.
Yes.
I took that blank piece of paper and I just drew this little diagram. These are all my scratches and scribbles from that very moment, all those years ago. And Marilyn, we started out with just the word God, and we talked about what it meant, and then we talked about man and sin and how people try to get back to God. All of the little diagrams and scribbles. And there are a lot more things added to the diagram over on this side, because in the conversation other things came up that had to be explained, and I just drew pictures, didn't I?
Yes, you most certainly did, Ralph.
And so you prayed and received the Lord into your life.
Yes, I sure did, Ralph.
And then you framed that thing. I didn't know it had been framed for years. Tell me why you framed it.
Because, you know, this meant so much to me. Because I'll never forget that day when we sat down at the table and you started sharing with me about Jesus and salvation. And I'll never forget, to myself I thought, here is the answer that I've been looking for all my life. And so I kept this because it meant so much to me. And I framed it. And then when I was working on the staff at West Memorial, I put it on the wall. And I'll never forget the postman that came in and inquired about it.
Folks, when I asked Marilyn to come on staff and work with me, she put this framed drawing on the wall, and the postman came in, and he said, "What in the world is that?" And you just so lovingly took it down from the wall, and as I had done, you pointed your finger through the diagram and led him to Christ.
Yes, right.
That was wonderful. You see, that's how easy it is. There are searching people everywhere. One of them was Marilyn Burt. And how many years ago has that been now, Marilyn?
My goodness, what was it, 1977?
Since 1977. And since then, you've gone on to be trained in a Bible school, and you've been involved in many ministries, and still serve as a secretary for a multinational oil company.
Yes.
Thank you so much.